Hello everybody, welcome to another Tina's Tiny Tuesdays. Today we are going to be making things that seem like heavenly bodies, you know, like space and sunsets and aurora borealis and stuff. Things that when you see them, it's just kind of like leaves you in awe and wonder. So that's the theme that we're gonna have for today. I am back from vacation, well, sort of vacation. I went down to DC to visit my sister and to do things. Had a party at her job. If you know, you know. If you know what my eldest does, then you know where we were on Martin Luther King Day. But I am back from my brief sort of vacation. It wasn't like one of those relaxing vacations. It was one of those jumping around and doing a bunch of stuff. So it didn't really feel like a vacation. But today, I'm ready to get back into the swing of things and paint things. I'm not super duper late today, guys. I've been starting like a full hour late and I'm only 20 minutes. Isn't that wonderful? We're moving up in the world. I would have started like closer to on time, not exactly on time, but the computer started, the software started acting funny, so I was like, okay, it's still late, whatever. I'll get in when I get in. But if you guys want to check out any other work that I've done, you can go to tinastextportraits.com. Where is it? I do have these beautiful wall calendars. Why is that so high up? Nope. I'm ruining all the layers. I'm ruining everything. Let's try that one. No? Yes, that layer. That's where it is. Okay. So I do have 2025 wall calendars available. I know January's like almost over, but there's still so many other months in the year. The calendar features 36 different miniature paintings that I've made either on stream or off stream and like posted later. Maybe. I don't think I posted the video of the turkey anywhere. But yeah. Each month has 3 specific paintings attributed to that month and to that vibe and the feel of that month. And yeah. You guys can go get those on my website. You know, some people express interest and have acquired such things. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me and supporting me in whatever way that you do, whether that's monetarily or just with your viewership. I appreciate you. Oh, I realized I started painting and it still just shows the calendar. Oh me, oh my. I'm just gonna paint a couple of these canvases black. I did have some black canvases, but if you were with me last Tuesday, you saw that I accidentally punctured the ones that I had. It's okay, guys. I chopped my nails. I have no fingernails. If I were to try and fight off an attacker, if I did get any DNA, it'd be like really up in there, you know. That's such a weird. I don't know why. That's where my mind went. Like, oh yeah. Savor the DNA of the attacker under these tiny nail bits. But yeah, I chopped my nails down so I would stop accidentally puncturing the canvases. You know, when I paint, I hold the canvases usually like this, or like this, you know, something like that. And there were just a couple times where it's just I ended up damaging the canvas last week. I did that to like 2 or 3 of them and I was like, This is great. This is a great time. I love it here. I feel like it seems a little dark. I know I haven't been having the spotlight on, but... Oh, is it not plugged in? Oh, I guess I unplugged it. Okay, never mind. Never mind about that one anyway. Let's try this. Nope. There we go. That side light. It's good. It's nice. Just hope it doesn't die on me, you know? How is everybody's week without me? I know you all must have been entirely devastated. I don't even see anybody in the chat right now. Like, I see people watching, but no one's, like, chatting, so I don't know if you guys... I know some people watch me and they just like to lurk, and other people, they like to chat, so... I think my lurkers are watching as of right now. While these two are drying, I'll start making some sort of space galaxy thing. But this song is just really hitting it today. Maybe it's the sleep deprivation. I foolishly... Okay, so last night, after I had already worked and did other stuff, came back home, had dinner. It was about like 11:30, I think, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stream on TikTok, because I never do that. But, you know, if somebody can see my art, then they're gonna see my art. You know, maybe I'll get some new followers, or at least some people aware of my work. And so I went live and I was painting another page from Bigger, which, if you guys have been following me for a while, then you know Bigger is a children's book I've been working on with my sister. My sister, she's the author, and we've been through several rounds of dinosaur stuff throughout the years, some digital stuff, some physical stuff, and so I eventually settled on watercolor, painting the book in watercolor, once I got more adept at watercolor stuff and in making things like that. But so I decided to go live on TikTok. I was live for like an hour and 45 minutes, 44 minutes, something like that. And then afterwards, I get done with the live, and then I'm like, you know what? I want to chillax and play a video game. Maybe I can beat Baldur's Gate, because I'm very near the end of it. So I thought, because, you know, the quest said confront the enemy, right? Confront the. I don't want to spoil things if you haven't seen it, but it's basically, it was like, oh yeah, go fight the big baddie. And so, you know, I walk over there. There's cutscenes. Hi, Katrina. Yeah, I figured you might be busy because, you know, Sabrina and her call volume and whatnot. But so I'm.
This futuristic nightstand has 3 dimmable LED light settings.
Whoa, phone! What are you doing? What is that? An ad started playing on my phone. Get out of here. So I was playing Baldur's Gate, and I thought I would just have to, you know, do one last battle. But then it, like, gets so much worse and so much more complicated, and I was like, okay, well, I at least want to get to the point where the next time I load up the game, I have to do this one last thing. And then that took 3 hours of failing and just trying to. So I was like, I don't want to fight a bunch of enemies right now. Because I was trying to sneak, right? And I use mods when I play Baldur's Gate. Not like a ton of mods. I just, there's the changing Gale's hairdo mod, and then there's the extended party mod. That's it. I use 2 mods, that's it. And so with the extended party mod, instead of you only being limited to having 4 people on your team, you know, you can have up to like 16 or 20, whatever. I'd roll like 11, 12 deep in every quest. And so the only downside to that is when you're trying to sneak with 12 people and the AI of the, you know, you're telling it to go here, you know, you're telling 12 people to get to this point. And you would want them, you know, to go in straight of a line as you can, but they just bunch up and go, and so they got spotted by the enemy. One person got spotted by the enemy, so it triggered all the enemies on the map, and there was like I don't know, it was like 20 enemies like directly in the area, and then so I start fighting, I start doing things, whatever. And then one of the enemies calls in for reinforcements, and so it adds like an additional 15 people to the battle. And I was like, I am not doing that. No. And so I kept reloading to try and sneak everyone to a certain point. Excuse me. So I wouldn't have to spend, you know, 5 hours in combat. I just spent, you know, like an hour trying to find what was the best route when I had the path of least resistance. And it was so late. It was so late. And then I found the path of least resistance, but then I still had to fight. And then I had to fight a beholder. And I was like, I don't want to do this. What if it uses its eye and just disintegrates one of my people? Like, I can't revive them. I can't go back to camp because this is the final, you know, this is the final map. But yeah, it was just okay, me yapping was enough time for the thing to dry. It was just a whole ordeal last night of trying to relax and play Baldur's Gate, but instead it just turned into me being very, very frustrated with Baldur's Gate, which is pretty accurate to the experience of playing D&D. You're like, oh, this is such a fun thing I do with my friends, and then you're stressed out about this fictional person's problems instead of your own. It was a pretty accurate feeling to being in a regular D&D session, so. Not to say that I don't enjoy D&D, it's just, you know. I don't know, playing video games sometimes, it's like, why am I playing this thing with, like, frustrating puzzles and combat mechanics and stuff. Why am I doing all this super extra thinking after I spent a long hard day doing other stuff and taking care of other things like around the house or at work and stuff? Like why do I do this to myself? Maybe it's because the fictional problems seem easier to solve or something than the real life problems, because in the fictional world, you know, you can just sneak your way out of problems or fight your way out of problems or steal your way out of problems, you know, with not a whole lot of repercussions, and you can just reload if you do run into problems. In the real world, you gotta actually work at stuff and not just be a morally gray hero, you know? Bring it a little closer because I know with the lighting, sometimes it's hard to see things that are like backlit. Not backlit, but just, you know, it's kind of dark. And this canvas, and so. Zoomed in a tiny bit. A tiny. don't know what else I want to do to this one. I'm gonna leave it be for right now. Set that aside, but I do want to do another. I'm gonna do a Northern Lights one for sure. So we're gonna leave the space right there while I think about what I want to add to it or change about it. I'm gonna go to an Aurora scene. Putting down a kind of a wash of this blue. I am going to mute for a little bit so I can try this. Hey Zombo. Everything is breaking on me. USB, my mouse, my keyboard, my controller, my head. Dang! Is this like all recently? That sucks, man. How you been besides everything breaking on you? I'm doing my roars a little bit differently today. I don't usually do the black and white method first, but I have in the past, and I just wanted to. It's been a while since I tried it that way. I think there was one I made a couple of years ago. It was called like Dancing Light Dragons, or something like that. I think about that one quite often. But I did the auroras and this technique, so I wanted to give it another shot like that. The colors I have are fine. I thought about looking for another shade of blue, but I think the ones I have currently are okay for what I need to do. I think I'm doing it. I might be doing this completely wrong. It's been some years since I did it like this. But the idea is you put down the white first so you know where your brightest needs to go. And then you build up with your colors everywhere else. And you can either do wet into wet, or you can dry brush with the color. I think this dry brushing might look a little bit better, honestly. If need be, I will lighten up some of the whiter areas, but think it's fine for now. I think this part's real shiny. I think that looks nice. Mixing, I haven't actually cleaned my brush at all since I started dry brushing. Because the idea is that the color is gonna kind of blend and bleed into each other. Because it is an aurora, and it's not like one part of the sky like stays perfect, that shade of blue or that shade of green, you know? Kind of like blends together in this beautiful dance of radiance. Have you still been able to game Zamboni? I know you were really into Marvel's Rivals. Has that affected the quality of your gameplay at all? With all your stuff breaking? That's okay. Just doing tiny touches just to make it a little brighter in some spots. Alright, now that the sky has been lit up, ablaze, it's time to add stuff in our middle ground and foreground. Just air blasted the keyboard, hopefully that fixed the issue. Yeah. Sometimes that could be the thing. You never know. Oh, I see that you're playing Marvel Rivals now. I guess that answers that question from earlier. Gonna test it. Okay. Hey, JK Pockets. It seems to be working better. Okay. I'm glad your keyboard's working better. It's good to see you too, Jay. If I start coughing, just ignore it. My dad got me a little bit sick. Surprised it wasn't the babies this time, but I was so excited about seeing my nieces and nephews on Sunday. I was like, they're probably gonna get me sick. Like, I was thinking about it on like Friday or something then, but that night I started coughing. I was like, oh no. But like the only person around me that's been a little bit sick has been my dad. I'm just like, it's probably him. Yeah, I'm surprised too, Zamboni, that it wasn't the babies. No, it was just my dad. I don't know how. I never used to get this sick this often, you know? I don't know what sort of mega germs I've been coming into contact with from my family, because this, I don't know. It's just crazy how often I get a cold. It's like I clean and disinfect stuff like all the time, so it's just like I don't know what sort of germs they're bringing to me. Just gotta tell them to keep them cooties to themselves. I tell them that! I'm always on everybody about washing their hands and making sure they throw trash away and food and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't sleep that much. Maybe the lack of sleep, my body's just like, oh, we don't have enough time to actually repair and create more white blood cells and stuff, and so we're just running on fumes. Get some sleep and then we'll be able to do something about it. Maybe that's what it is. Or it could be the fact that I don't eat vegetables. I do need more iron for sure. I'm supposed to like take like daily iron supplements because I am anemic.
And I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now. You like me.
Hi Leth, thanks for resubscribing. No, I didn't take my iron supplements today, Zamboni. I also didn't take my sinus medication, because I was like, can you take sinus medication and Dayquil at the same time? And I took neither. I'm really bad about keeping up with my medicine. Yeah. More Northern Lights. It's been a while since or at least since I remember painting one. So I wanted to... I mean, it could have been like 2 or 3 months, but that seems like a while to me. Because I used to paint them like every single week. Because I was obsessed for a while. But they're just so pretty. It's a good thing to obsess about. You've actually seen him in real life now? That's so exciting! That's so exciting! I definitely want to see them up close and in person before I perish on this earth. That's definitely on my bucket list. Big green ones, it's so nice. I would love to go somewhere up north and like have painting supplies and like know when they're gonna happen, you know? And like maybe from like my cabin or hotel I could just, you know, just be watching and just like painting what I'm seeing. That'd be really cool. I know there are some parts of Michigan, the state where I live, there are some like up north sometimes you can see them because parts of my state touch Canada, so it's pretty far north. I'm in the southern part of my state though. But if I ever travel that far north, I could just have a grand old time just staring at the sky. Make the snow a little brighter in some spots. I'm not gonna overdo it. They don't come too often where I live, maybe once a year on average. Okay. That's really cool that you got to see them though. I don't know why I'm adding these random colors to this space one. I just feel like it's so dark. I just wanted there to be something else to it. I mean, usually with the space ones recently, I've been putting a spaceship behind it. Or sometimes like an astronaut just like floating out. But I don't know about this one. I started this at the beginning of my stream and I just kind of left it there because I didn't know how I wanted to finish it. And I still kind of don't know how I want to finish it. But I'm just gonna... I'll add random stuff to it throughout the stream and see where it goes. See what comes to me. This one, however, I did say there was supposed to be a sunset in the title of my stream. Just spilled a bunch of coffee on me. I'll be right back. Hi everybody, I'm back. I tried to gently wipe the coffee stain out, and then I went to rinse it, and then the the whole shirt got wet. And so I was like, this is... And then I was like, maybe I should try and blow dry the spot, but then I realized the water spread everywhere, so I was like, okay, I'm changing. But hi! Hello, I'm back! I apologize for that brief interruption of me not knowing how to use a cup. Okay. I said something about sunsets or ethereal scenes, I don't know, in the title. Yeah, and I was like, I really like this sweater. It's my mom's sweater. I like wearing it. It's comfy and it's cute. And then I was like, it's gonna take forever to dry, so it's upstairs. No, it wasn't. It was just anime themed. I have the paintings sitting near me. So, it looks like a Pokemon, very much so. But this is a Kilala from Inuyasha. This is like the harmless form of the demon. This is a scene from Full Metal Alchemist. This is Roy Mustang setting the homunculus Lust on fire. And then this is from Attack on Titan. This is called the Coordinates, if you know what's going on with that. But yeah, that was last stream. That was a full... It was like 2 Tuesdays ago. I had fun with that one though. I like sometimes trying to simplify anime scenes onto these tiny canvases. Sometimes it's challenging, and sometimes I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I paint this scene? This is so weird. Like when I was painting Roy Mustang set Lust on fire, at first I think Zambani had suggested it, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, that was such an impactful scene in the show and stuff. And then like as I'm making it, I'm just like, I'm painting a man setting a woman on fire. Like why? I didn't think about like the moral implications of what I was making until it was already on canvas. But she is evil. Context is very important. Context is one of the most important things in life. Aurora space. I don't need this black one for it to be a sunset. Actually, I have this gray one that I started making last week, and I'll do something with that. Different brush. And there's this tiny imperfection right here in the... You guys can see it. It's catching the light right there. There's like this little indent in the canvas. I think I'm actually gonna put the sun there just so it's like... I don't know. Just add some purpose to the imperfection. Add some meaning to the pain, you know? That's the sort of idea. Yeah, happy accidents. Watch anything cool lately? I watched Squid Game if you're into that. I didn't like the second season as much as the first. There's some moments and some things about it that I really enjoyed. I like that, one of the actors in it, he was a rapper that got in trouble for smoking weed in Korea, and that was a big no-no, and he was basically bullied out of a career. But and he was basically bullied out of the industry because of the scandal, and not that I'm like pro smoking weed or anything, but they he's a rapper, you know, he's in the music industry. I'm sure he's not the only one that was you know, smoking marijuana. But it caused like a big scandal, and he ended up like leaving the group. I mean, the group had been on break for a while, but they had made a comeback, and he didn't want to be a part of it because he didn't want his scandal to bring like shame on the rest of the group. And people were like harassing him about the scandal so much that it like almost drove him to suicide. And but him being in the show kind of has given him a second chance, and so I appreciate that for him. His rapper name is Top T-O-P. Because I was a fan of his back when I was in like middle school, high school. So this is like 14 years ago that I was listening to his music. He was like one of the first Korean rap artists that I was like, oh wow, he's really good. And back then, his style, he had like this bleached white hair, and like he has like a really deep voice, so he just looked and sounded like an anime villain to me, and I was just like, who is this man? And so 14-year-old me was really into him, but I'm glad that he's got a second chance because of the show. because it's really unfortunate how he was treated, and I'm glad that he's getting some international fame. Also glad that he's alive. He's in the second season. Yes, he's a character named Thanos. In the show, he's like this cringy. He's like a cringy, drug addicted rapper, but in real life, he was an actual rapper, and he's a lot better in real life than the lines he had on the show. At least the moments that he was rapping on the show. But he is like one of the like minor villains in the second season. Before the scandal had happened, he was acting in movies, and he was in TV shows and stuff, and so I was excited to watch his acting career take off, because the group wasn't performing that much, and so I was happy to support his content in other ways. And then he just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, and I didn't know why. But I found out years later about the whole scandal. But other than that, other than Squid Game, there hasn't been like anything else any other like TV shows I've really been into lately. I've just been listening to like a lot of like podcasts and stuff like that. Haven't been watching too much like actual like TV programming. Like I'll put on The Office to fall asleep to. Like The Office or Frasier, or like a sitcom that I've seen a lot. But no new series. Where's that? Oh. It's always right in front of me. Any good podcasts? It depends on what you like to listen to. I've been listening to a lot of biblical history podcasts recently. So a lot of like historical context stuff, and a lot of books around like the history of like the Levant in like 1200 BC. Like I've been listening to like a lot of stuff about that. So it's kind of nerdy, but you know, it's you know, my day job is a youth minister, so it's sort of for work, but also it's sort of just because I'm a huge nerd about some of those things. Like there is that's cool. Okay. There's this guy, his name is Wesley Huff, and he studies like ancient languages and like ancient manuscripts, and he was on Joe Rogan's podcast a couple weeks ago. I don't usually listen to Joe Rogan. Not that there's anything wrong with the guy. It's just there has to be a guest that interests me in order for me to watch the show. But when he was on Joe Rogan, it was a full like 3 hours and like 16 minutes or 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I listened to the whole thing, and then I listened to other people talk about clips about the show, and then other people's breakdowns about the show, and then just talking about some really nerdy historical document stuff, and I was just eating it up. I was like, I'm a huge dork, but it was a good time for me. It was a real good time. I listened to No Dumb Questions, really good mix between history, Bible, family, and engineering. Okay. I might have to check that out. No Dumb Questions. It's with Destin Sandlin? There's another, yeah, consonants. They're funny. Destin Sandlin. Smarter Every Day on YouTube, if you're familiar with that channel. I'm not. And Matt Whitman from 10 Minute Bible Hour. Okay. I will put a tab with that so I don't forget it later. Alright. We'll check that out later. Thanks for the recommendation. There's just one series on YouTube. I don't remember if it was from Mike Winger or if it was from Wesley Huff. My sister had recommended it to me. It was talking about Jesus in the Old Testament, like all like a bunch of like scripture, going over like a bunch of scriptures that like prophesy Jesus is coming and stuff, or parallels between like the Old Testament and the New Testament when Jesus is like saying something and it's like obviously he's quoting this and you know, and stuff like that. He's quoting this to like to point out like, hey everybody, I'm the Messiah. I'm that guy. I can't remember who. It might have been. It might be Mike Winger that had it. Mike Winger has some good content. He's just he's just really nerdy. Not that there's anything wrong with being a nerd, but it's like some people that you listen to that have like that are like apologists or talking about history, because like West stuff, the stuff that he does is it's super nerdy, but he doesn't like present it in a way where it's like gonna go over your head or anything. Like he says a lot of things in just like layman's terms. I think it was Mike Winger. I'm gonna double check who it was. Yeah, Mike Winger. He has he's got a whole playlist on YouTube called How to Find Jesus in the Old Testament. So it's like he has like a bunch of like a whole like sermon series. I feel like West Huff had some stuff too. Oh no, okay. Not West Huff with the old Jesus in the Old Testament. That's Mike Winger specifically, but West Huff has that's what it was. My sister recommended a video called Gospel of Mark Calls Jesus in Every Chapter. You know, some people will say that the Gospel of John must be so old because it must be so much later than the others, because I mean it was the last one written, but they assume that it was hundreds of years later because it has a high Christology, which is you know, really holds Jesus as, you know, as God and stuff. And so people, some skeptics will assume that because John blatantly says like, hey, Jesus is God, that that's an idea that came about later, even though Paul, you know, talks about Jesus being the Messiah and Jesus being God and stuff. But John was just more upfront about it. Mark and Matthew, if you know the Old Testament and I can point, you have to know what they're talking about in the Old Testament for it to be like, this is obviously what Jesus is paraphrasing and stuff. So it he like goes through, Mike Winger does, and like points out stuff where it's like, hey, this thing that you didn't understand before, this is Jesus making a reference to this in Isaiah, or this in Job, or this in, you know, which I find completely fascinating, because there's so many threads back and forth between the old and the new, and it's just, every time I learn something, I'm just like, I know nothing. And I'm completely fascinated. I'm completely fascinated every time I learn a new factoid, every time I learn a new reference. It's just like it never ends. It never ends. Which is, you know, enjoyable. It's one of the enjoyable things about my job. But trying to get that through all these super important facts and history and stuff, and then trying to relate that to a bunch of children is can kind of be somewhat of a challenge, because there's all this meta narrative and all this history stuff, and it's like, okay, how do I explain this to this 9-year-old in a way that's not too much, and then just be like, oh hey Richard, thanks for watching on YouTube. Yeah, and so trying to explain all these, you know, all these concepts to a bunch of children sometimes is just like, I know all this stuff, but they're understanding the basics right now. It's like, okay. Sometimes it's like I'm studying calculus for fun and I'm teaching addition. It's just like, okay. But I don't only teach like literal children. I do young adult Bible studies and stuff like that, and adult Bible studies. So Katrina said, "Explain it as if you were a child, but that's not saying much because you were a different kid." I was a strange child. I mean, instead of playing, like, freeze tag at recess, we were playing Vampire Hunter. We were playing Blade and Who Has the Cure. That's what I was doing at recess, so I don't think explaining it to as if I were a child is going to be very helpful or very very useful in this situation, Katrina. And another thing with teaching kids is that there are some kids that, you know, can get concepts and stuff really quick and right away, and then other kids are, you know, they take a little bit more time to really grasp hold. I mean, everybody is like that, you know, whether you're teaching like kids or adults, but when you have a room full of kids, like hyper kids that are just constantly asking you questions, and it's like, let's get back to the story, and it's like, and then they're asking questions about like pickles and cheeseburgers and unicorns, and it's like, let's get back to Moses, everybody. I do enjoy doing Bible studies with the kids though, but it's it can just be a lot. I have to like remind myself like not to get like overstimulated and to just like take it like, you know, one moment at a time, and just, you know, try not to let their super hyper questions like distract too much. But sometimes they ask like really deep questions and stuff, even if they are kids. It's like, I wouldn't expect a 9-year-old to ask that. Yeah. Like the stories about Moses or Jonah. We've discussed Jonah a couple times from a few different angles. Not only you know, talking about, you know, the fish and stuff, but also coming from a point of having compassion for your fellow man, because Jonah was just like, I don't want to preach. You are a just and loving God, and if I go preach to them, then they're gonna change their ways, and I don't want them to. So it's not only about, you know, obeying God, but also having a heart for your fellow man and being able to recognize that, you know, like, hey, they need God too, not just shutting them out. But in my experiences, those stories stay with you, and you sort of gradually get to understand them more and more deeply. That's true, because there are some stories where it's like, I've read them a bunch of times, but you learn something else or just like notice something else about it, and then it's just like, oh my gosh. Even like you know, like Jesus walking on the water, there's you know, I've read the story of Job a couple, you know, I don't want to say like a dozen, because maybe not that much, but, you know, the story of Job is, you know, it's very famous. But there's a scripture where Job talks about only God being able to walk on the water. And then I was, like, my sister had mentioned that at Bible study a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wait, what? Job? Job talks about God walking on the water, and then and then, you know, thousands of years later, you have Jesus walking on the water, coming up to his disciples, and they're so afraid that they think it's a ghost, and it's just like, wait, is this just this, like, what do you mean? It's like, oh my gosh, like, there's, the Bible is just so interesting. It's so interesting. I think the sunset is coming across nicely. Like, you can barely even tell that there was that imperfection in the canvas anymore. Because all you can see is the brightness and the glory and the sunshine. You can't even tell that it was damaged. There's a sermon in there somewhere. That looks nice. I've kind of just been playing around with the colors as I was yapping, but I think this, I think this turned out quite nice. And I gotta put something in the foreground. I'm tempted to like put like a forest and trees in front of it, but I don't want to block out the light too much, you know? But I do want something just to kind of, you know, fill this space down below. Yep. Came across a meme the other day. Daniel slept in a lion's den. Peter slept in a prison. Jesus slept in a storm. No matter the circumstance, you can take a nap. Amen. And sometimes those moments where, even though everything was going wrong and you take the time to actually sit down and rest. I know this is ironic coming from me, because at the beginning of the stream I talked about how I talk about my sleep deprivation all the time, but those moments where you like actually just like, you know what, I'm gonna rest, I'm gonna take this moment to just not worry about it. You know, things end up working out. It seems like in those moments where you're just, you know, I'm gonna take a nap. Another one when Elijah was he went to hide in the cave and he took a nap and then the angel woke him up and made him some food. Like, you telling me I can take a nap and an angel gonna come and make me some biscuits? like what that food tastes like, Jesus? Like, I would love to take a nap and then wake up and then an angel's just like, hey, I made you some food. Now you'll have the strength to carry on and do what you gotta do. I'd be like, okay. Okay. Speaking of sleeping, gotta head out. See you later. Alright, get some rest. I'll see you later, Leth. Thanks again for resubscribing. It's always a joy to talk to you. I hope you have a wonderful nap or full sleep. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I hope you get all the rest that you need. Katrina said, had a weird moment. I didn't realize that you had your YouTube live up on 2 different screens, so I got a call and muted one and then freaked out. But I could still hear you talking. Yeah. Yeah, I'm streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube today. So if you got all those tabs open, Katrina, you can hear me everywhere. I'm following you. I appreciate you watching me from multiple places, Katrina. I gotta get that watch time up on YouTube so I can get monetized. AA. I don't know what's going on with my stuff on YouTube, because before it was like my shorts would like, they would like really push them out, or maybe people were just sharing them more, but now my shorts don't really get any traction and stuff, so I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm thankful for the people that do watch, don't get me wrong. I'm very, very thankful for people that do watch and consume my content, however you consume my content. Because the more people watch and interact, and the more algorithms will try and push it out to other people, and then the more people that can see my art, and then, you know, 3 degrees of separation from me and my big break, you know? But, yeah, I just don't know what's going on with my content currently, at least on YouTube, because it's not being pushed out like it was, which is unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate, but I hear ya. I can't hardly get any views on YouTube, and then I top around 250 views on TikTok. Yeah. TikTok, that's another one. So, I've been on TikTok since it was Musical.ly, way back when. And when it was Musical.ly, like, some of my stuff would get traction. Like, it would get, like, 10,000, 8,000, 15,000 views and stuff. And then eventually it got to a point where it was like I was getting, like, 10, 20 views, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And then, eventually, when it became TikTok and I still, like, wasn't getting traction, I was like, well, let me make a second account. So I made a second account, and that account is the one that I basically just use now. And, it's like a TikTok seller shop account and stuff, and I can go live, and I can, you know, it has more freedom and stuff, but still I'm like not get, like, I can get like 100 views or something, and or if like a couple people repost, maybe I'm gonna get to like 3 or 4, but like I don't know what all these algorithms have against artists, you know? And it's not just artists, so there's just other content that I know that they're just purposely not pushing out, because my older sister, her name is Christina. She has a podcast, a political podcast called Black Tea News. On TikTok, she has 10,000 followers, and most of her videos nowadays gets like like 500 views, which is crazy because, you know, there's 10,000 people following her, so you would think that there'd be, you know, they'd be pushing it out to all of her followers and stuff, but nope. I don't know, it's really weird. I don't know what they're doing with the algorithms and stuff. And the thing about TikTok, even if you are like in the creators program or something, and you have reached that threshold to actually get paid for your content, if your video doesn't have, if it's not longer than 1 minute and it's not over 1,000 views, they're not going to pay you a single cent for it. And so it just seems like they get people into the program to try and get more people to like to be on TikTok and engage with content and stuff, and then once it's like they're actually in the program, this is conspiratorial, but it seems like once people are actually in the program, they don't like allow them to trend and stuff, so that they have to pay people out less. Maybe that's just it. That's just what it seems like to me, because I come across and follow a lot of people where they have a significant following, you know, like 10,000, 20,000, 100K thousand. That's not 100K thousand, 100K. You know, that's not a small amount of people in any sense of the word, but the engagement and viewership is so low. It's just like it just seems nefarious in some ways. But anyway, you have I think I'd probably do better if I were an artist. I'm just a dude who posts sermon clips and talks about the Bible. Well, even then, like, sermon clips can do like really good and like reach like a lot of people and stuff. And I've watched your clips. I've watched your clips. You have like some really good clips. They just, you know, they don't push stuff out there. I don't know. I think my conspiracy might be I still don't know what I'm doing with this painting, honestly. I still don't know what I'm doing with it. And it seems like they don't want anything to trend nowadays unless it is like super political or super controversial. But then it's just like, I don't know. It seems like stuff needs like a bunch of hate comments in order for it to trend. And that just, it seems unfortunate. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. I'm just throwing colors down at this point. Got 12 minutes left. I don't know what to do with this. This is... Maybe some more stars will do something, inspire me to do something. I think your tinfoil hat is tuned to the right signal, LOL. Yeah, it just seems like they don't actually want to pay people for being on the app. Like, they want people to be on the app and to post things and stuff, but it just, I don't know. It seems... Seems like they don't want. So there's this one time, Christina had a video that was doing really well, and it qualified for the for the payout and stuff, and then it was gonna be a nice bill pay in payout, you know, and then all of a sudden TikTok was like, this video is not eligible for payout, and then they just like the money she would have gotten, they just refused to give it to her, and when she appealed it, they were just like, nope, instant denial. And so it was just like, this, like, when I heard when it was getting banned, and I was like, they should have wrote you that check. And then it was instantly unbanned, and I was like, maybe they can still give you that check. I don't know. TikTok it's weird. I don't always like it. Now, I have met some great people through TikTok and engaged with great content and seen a lot of stuff that has helped me develop both spiritually and as an artist and as a businesswoman. So it does have its benefits, but it as a company, I just forget the are they spying on us, are they selling our data, yada yada yada. I just feel like some of their business practices and stuff, and they act like you're like, oh yeah, free speech on this app and blah 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 blah, but you know, stuff will get flagged and banned so quick. I kind of like this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of it, honestly. Honestly, don't know what to make of it. It's interesting to say the least. But I think I'm gonna leave it like that for now. I don't know, there's just something about... I don't know, there's something about it that I feel like it's done. I feel like it's complete like that. But I do have a little bit of time left. And I could make something else if I don't yap so much, but I've been on a yap fest today, it seems like. Because these three, even though there is light sources and stuff, they're still very dark paintings. I wanted to just make something a little brighter. I will have to blow dry this in a second, so I'm gonna mute. Now, I don't do this pretty off. I've done like maybe 4 of these in my lifetime. I just want to paint some clouds, like just clouds. These are so watery. I did not mean for it to I mean, there is like some really nice. Oh, that's so bright. You guys can barely see. Okay, that's a little. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to dry this. I'm not even gonna bother muting. Shigani upsayo. There's no time. I can spare the seconds to mute. I only had 2 minutes left. I might go slightly over time. Hit the 2-hour mark officially, but need to finish clouds. You might be wondering, why did I paint a yellow background and then do a bunch of pink and purple clouds over top? The reason why you might see artists paint what's called an underpainting is so that when they're going over with their lights and their grays and stuff, there's not going to be you can tell exactly where the white parts of the canvas are, and so you know like what, because they've been painted yellow or orange or green or whatever, or gray like in the case of this one that I did earlier. and so when they're going over, they can see what was originally there. Because sometimes when you're just painting on white, it can be kind of hard to tell if you've missed some parts of the canvas. But since it's now the whole canvas is now yellow, I can clearly see where there is yellow sticking out, or where there was gray sticking out on this one, or orange sticking out in others. It's just a nice, neat, helpful way to make sure that we cover the whole canvas. And also, you can choose to leave some of that color exposed. Like, I will leave some of this just a little yellow because it is supposed to, you know, it's sun is yellow. It's just, other things happening in the sky that make clouds look pink or purple or whatnot. I don't want to take super long on this because I do have to go to the grocery store and like get stuff like to make dinner for like the next couple days. It's so strange being the one that has to do most of the grocery shopping. And my brother he'll pick up a couple things, but being the main one that like makes dinner now, and have to grocery shop and stuff, it's still a bit strange. I mean, my mom didn't cook much near the end of her life because she did honestly not enjoy cooking. I mean, her food was delicious, but that was more so out of necessity rather than pleasure. I enjoy cooking. It's just I have to know what I'm making beforehand so I can mentally prepare. And I have to know that I'm the one that's cooking. Like, if you were just to spring it up on me at like 4 p.m. that I had to make dinner that night, I'd be kind of irritated because it's just like I had other plans, or there was stuff I was gonna do, or now I just gotta make dinner, and now it's like I don't know what to make for dinner. What ingredients do we have? My mom was saying, I don't know, we got chicken in there. It's just like, but the dinner is more than just chicken, Mom. Do we have rice? Do we have potatoes or pasta, or what kind of sauce is going with this chicken? What kind of is the chicken going in something? Are we making wraps? Are we making sandwiches, or is this some sort of pasta dish? And she was just like, we got there's chicken in there. It's like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. I'll probably just eat a TV dinner. Just like, Mom, please. You're not making this easy on me. But yeah, she did not enjoy cooking. But it was like I would cook like 3 days out the week. She'd cook 2, and then the other days were just kind of like a stare down of endless possibilities, and then it was just mostly takeout. Or there'd be some weeks when I'd cook 5 days out the week, and my mom would just be like, it'd be like her turn, and she's just like, I want Wendy's. But anyway, I don't want to be doing this too much longer because I have to plan out the rest of the week for groceries. And yeah, it's just a process since she's been gone. I was out and about yesterday and I saw someone that had her hairstyle. It was a black woman, like in her 50s or 60s, and she had my mom's hairstyle, and I was like, I am not okay right now. What are some of my favorite things to cook? I love to bake bread. I really love to bake bread. It has become a weird passion of mine, but I try not to do it too often because my dad has been recently diagnosed with diabetes, and so I don't want to just keep making a bunch of like breads and sandwich breads and, you know, stuff like that, because it's just like, he can't have a lot of that. So, but as far as like a dinner meal that I like to cook, I like to what is my favorite thing, like, meal? I think meal-wise, I'm gonna go with, maybe like some homemade chicken enchiladas. I do really like making those. It's just, it's a long process making the sauce for it. It's like a 3-hour process making the whole meal. And so it's something I try not to do too often, because 3 hours is a long time. It's a long time just to be making one single dish. At least if I'm making bread, that's something I can, you know, it's like, oh, this is the sandwich bread for the week. This is, you know, bread we could have with soups or other things. But I do really enjoy baking. I enjoy baking a lot. I've been making pizza quite often ever since I realized that it doesn't take that many steps. Like, once you have your bread dough and then you just, well, your pizza dough, and then you mold it out and stuff, it's just like, oh, now I just gotta put sauce and cheese on this and some meat. It's that simple. And I can freeze the dough and use it again later if need be. There have been a couple times on Sundays after church, because my sister and her kids, they usually come over while her husband's at work after church, and so you know, I'll be watching them and my sister will just basically be relaxing and you know, watching TV and stuff. But sometimes I'll make pizza dough with the kids. And there's one day we made pizza from scratch and cookies from scratch, and they really enjoyed that. And then we had like a little Bible study afterwards. So that was lots of fun. Ice cream is another thing that I enjoy making from scratch. If I have the time and I don't if I have the time and the ingredients, I'm gonna do something that is just way extra and way out there for, you know, I could just, you know, buy it in a carton or just buy it at the store, but I'm gonna go the extra mile. Because acts of service is definitely my love language. Quality time and acts of service. That's me right there. Sometimes to really show my love and appreciation for somebody, I'll just make them a meal from scratch. Like the first Bible study after New Year's for our young adult Bible studies that regular adults just kind of crash. It's like everybody in their 20s and 30s just shows up, and it's like, okay. But for that Bible study, I decided to make like banquet food, and so there was like, I made dinner rolls and baked chicken and garlic mashed potatoes, and I don't remember what was. I think there was dessert too. I don't remember if I made it or we just had it, but. It was just like, it's New Year, just want to show my appreciation to you guys, and it was a feast, and everyone was real happy about it. One of my sisters is trying to convince me to do lamb chops for around Easter and Passover. I'm just like, I don't know about that, but maybe we'll see about it. It's not as polished as I would like it to be, but I think that's fine for now. And like I said, I do have to go grocery shop. But I want to thank everybody for watching today, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. I appreciate you guys commenting and sharing and liking and all that stuff. And resubbing. Thanks again, Leth. I know Leth is gone, but thanks again for resubbing on Twitch. That really helps me out. You guys can catch me again on Thursday. On Thursday, I don't know if I'll be making a mini on Thursday because I've had this idea for a painting ever since I heard this scripture, and so I want to maybe sketch it out on a canvas first and then see how I feel about actually going forth with the work. And so Thursday I might be doing a big painting instead of a tiny one. We shall see. If you guys want to check out my stuff, tinastextportraits.com is where you can go to look at all my other things, things that I have already for sale and whatnot. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna take some cough syrup or something and go to the grocery store and continue about my day, but